the one, the only Benzion. Good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube. Iyun Benzion. Today we're doing Masechah Sotah Daf Chav Zayin, number 27. I want to talk of Chav Zayin. I'm an Aleph over here. There's a machlokes between Rabbi Yossi and the Rabbanan. Our Mishnah said that Mishnah and Daf Chav Daled that if the husband is not around, he's not present, he's in jail, let's say, Beis Din could step in. The woman is rumored she's promiscuous. They can warn her, don't be secluded with this man that there's alleged rumors that you're being together with. So they could step in and warn for him. And then when the husband gets out of jail, he can bring her to Beis Din, according to Rabbi Yossi, and be mashka the Mei Sotah. Everyone agrees that the Mishnah says that Beis Din can step in. The Mishnah only says that if she secludes with that man that Beis Din warned her against, she loses her ksuba. It does not say she has to go to the Beis HaMikdash and she's eligible to drink the Mei Sotah, which could kill her or prove her innocent. You can't do that, according to the Rabban. According to Rabbi Yossi, you could. When he comes out of jail, he could. What's it based on? The Gemara says the Gemara, there's two psukim, the pasuk in Bamidbar Hey, pasuk Yadalit, which says, he warns his wife. And the next pasuk, Ted Vav, says, both of them, the man has to warn. Has to warn his wife and to bring his wife. Now the Mishnah says it doesn't lav dafka, it has to be the husband warning. It could be Beis Din could step in for the husband. But the fact that juxtaposes the two psukim next to each other, so just like there's no argument, everyone says the husband has to be present when he's giving his wife the Mei Sotah. So therefore it's juxtaposed to the previous pasuk, and therefore the only way you can have the husband bringing his wife is if he warned her also. If Beis Din warned her, even though he gets out of jail, he can't bring her to the mashka Sotah. According to the Rabban, who he possible. Like Rabbi Yossi says, no, it's possible that you could have Beis Din warning her, and the husband, when he gets out of jail, he will bring her to drink the Mei Sotah. What is the machlokes based upon? So I was discussing the basic notion of Sotah. The pasuk says Umala Bomal. I misquoted Amal. I said Omal Mal B'Hashem or something like that. Pasuk here, I read it on the side over here. Mal Mal. Again, it's a double lashon. Mal Mal. I heard from Rabbi on Sachs. It's a double meila. Double meila. There's hazada. There's rebellion against meila. Sort of a rebellion against God, and a rebellion against her husband. Right? Rebellion against God is to commit adultery, which is chiyav misa, and there's a rebellion against her husband. That she's cheating on her husband. That's the two elements, right? When you do arayos, when you're together with your sister or something like that, or your mother. So it has rebellion against God. You're not rebelling against. I mean, unless your sister has a different husband, in which case she's cheating also. Or your mother's a different husband, and she's cheating also. That's a rebellion. So there's two rebellions going here during adultery: rebellion against God, or rebellion against events. So one of the things necessary, the first Mishnah, Masechah Sotah, says, according to Rabbi Yeshua Pascal, like the kinoi also needs two edim. The kinoi, the warning, right? You can't have Sotah without a warning. If there's no one warning her, there's definitely no concept of Sotah. Even if there's two items say she's secluded with a man, it doesn't answer her. It doesn't even answer her. It doesn't make her lose a ksuba. It doesn't answer her. You need a warning. Vikinoi. And part of the pasuk says, pasuk Yadalid, Vikinoi. You need a warning. If the husband's not around, Beis Din can step in, but you need a warning in order to lose her ksuba. So there's a machlokes between Tanoim, I believe. What is the point of hasra? Hasra is used. There's a couple different times. We have here by Sotah kinoi. It calls it kinoi. We also have by hasra, if you want to be chiyav Mrs. Beis Din, you have to warn the person and say that if you do this, you're chayav skila. If you do this, right? If you violate Shabbat, you're chayav skila. Violate avodah zarah, you're chayav skila. Hasra. There's also the Gemara, the Torah talks about ein onshin elim ken his here. The Torah has to warn you. The Torah, before it gives you a punishment, right? It gives you a capital punishment. It has to warn you. First, it has to say don't do it, a lav, and then it has to repeat it to say for the onish. So there's always a concept of warning in the Torah. So what is the concept of warning? Like one opinion, Rabbi Yehuda says in Maseches Makos and Maseches Sanhedrin, he says the only point of hasra, of warning, is lahavchin min shogeg u'mezid, right? If I do something once, it was a mistake. If I do it twice, like the Gemara says, once you did a mistake, you repeated it, it becomes heter. The second time is hazada, right? One time is a warning. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice. Sorry, that's a bad quote actually. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It's not really. But if you do it a second time, so it makes it clear according to Rabbi Yehuda Maseches Makos that you did it on purpose. If you made a mistake once, you did it once, so we can't say you for sure did a rebellion, did it amazing on purpose. You do it a second time. So that's the point of hasra. The point of hasra, if we warn you and you do it afterwards, we know you're doing it on purpose. And maybe over here, that's also the point. The husband warns her, the basin warns her, and then she goes and she secludes with him. So we know she's doing it on purpose. She knows she's doing it on purpose. And you need hazad in order to be chayiv for our rayas and to make the whole parsha of Sotah. The second possibility of hasra, of warning, is not that we're clarifying that the person did it on purpose. It's, at least by Sotah over here, it's a rebellion. Like we said, Omal, it's two rebellions, right? Rebellion against the person, the husband, rebellion against Hashem. So the point of the kinoi over here is to serve as a method of proving that she's rebelling not just against God, but she's rebelling against the husband. If she's just secludes with a man, the husband didn't warn her. Okay, she's rebelling against God. She's doing something which looks like adultery. But when the husband warned her and says, don't seclude with a man, and she violates that and secludes with a man, so then that's rebellion. That's the real rebellion against her husband. The husband warned her, don't be together with this guy I see you flirting with all the time. And then she goes and does it. So that's the rebellion against the husband. So according to the Rabbanan say both the kinoi and the stira have to be through the husband, right? Benzion can't do the kinoi, and then the husband gets out of jail. He can bring her to bring the Mei Sotah, because the kinoi, if it's done by Benzion, it could be mafsid her ksuva. But if Benzion steps in, Benzion is really a replacement for God. That's really what it is. The husband, it's not a rebellion, it's the husband. The husband didn't warn her. Benzion warned her. So Benzion can act as a shliach of Hashem. So therefore, when there's a kinoi, and then there's a stira afterwards, she could lose her ksuva, according to the Rabbanan. Or according to Rabbi Yossi, right? He doesn't darshan malabo mal necessarily. Maybe the whole thing, the parsha of Sotah is just, right, like he would learn, like Rabbi Yossi. The point of the kinoi is just the warning before the stira, so therefore it proves amazing. Malabo mal is really just one rebellion against Hashem, so therefore you bring the Sotah, even if it's the husband's not warning, the basin can step in, and because that's the point. Malabo mal is a singular thing, is a rebellion against Hashem. But according to the Rabbanan, they darshan malabo mal, there's two rebellions: a rebellion against the husband, and a rebellion against God. So only in that case do we have the whole parsha of Sotah. We bring in the Beis Hamikdash, have this whole ordeal where they strip her naked and they make her drink the Mei Sotah, and if she's guilty, she becomes, a disaster to her body and kills her in a very horrific way. So you have to have both elements. According to the Rabbanan, you need the rebellion against the husband. If you don't have the rebellion against the husband, the Benzion warns her, you can't have the second part. You need both. Malabo mal has to be two rebellions: a rebellion against the husband and a rebellion against God. If you only have a rebellion against God, which is when Benzion steps in, so that's not good enough. You can't bring the Mei Sotah. The Mei Sotah is a very strict parsha. It's a very unique parsha, and it's a horrific, terrible ceremony which happens. You need two things according to the Rabbanan. You need the rebellion against the husband, or rebellion against God. If you don't have both, and the husband's in jail, he can't warn her, so then the only thing can happen is you could lose the ksuva and maybe usher to the husband. I hope you enjoyed today's share. See you in the next one.